Hello, welcome to this update for Asia and Africa as well. So let's see what's happening because we have a lot of rain in the central Indian Ocean, a lot of storms and convective activity, and also a disturbance in the Western Pacific that might try to become a typhoon. So we are watching these areas closely because of heavy rain for southern India and those areas and a possible storm towards Madagascar and other areas too. I know it's very early in the season, but this is already trying to spin up. So we'll take a look at all of that and also some weather stuff. So let's see. There in the Western Pacific, there's Invest 96W and it has a lot of convective activity already, especially in the central southern parts. The north slightly less, but the models do take it towards northern Philippines, eventually to the South China Sea. The strength of this is still to be determined, but most likely it's heading in that direction. And there's the Canadian ensembles as well. They're further south into Luzon, but some are still slightly north. So let's see here. There's the GFS shows like in the Western Pacific. There's that extra tropical cyclone near Japan that will go further to the North Pacific, maybe to southern Alaska as an extra tropical cyclone again. And then there's there in the tropics shows the tropical wave. The GFS kind of develops it into a tropical storm by Saturday, Sunday, and passes north of Luzon, goes into like the South China Sea and kind of weakens a lot. But still watching because there's the European shows like it does have that wave there. It slowly develops and it doesn't quite reach tropical storm strength before getting to Luzon, but you dump a lot of rain there. And then it goes and might become a tropical storm in the South China Sea, according to the European. So the European is slower to develop it, but there's the Canadian model shows like this storm goes as a tropical storm further south towards central Luzon, and then it goes to the South China Sea again. And all of the models are not going towards China, they are curving south to Vietnam and also dissipating in the process. So it might not reach Vietnam as a fully fledged tropical storm, but it also might depending on what happens. So still watching. There's the icon shows this system goes, and it's also further south. The icon it reaches the Philippines too fast to strengthen much. So in this scenario, it would be a tropical depression to low end tropical storm. Then it strengthens the South China Sea some more and goes into Vietnam slightly weaker. So still watching. But if you are there in the northern Philippines, please watch this, especially if the scenario of the GFS is correct, because if that's correct, you might have a stronger tropical storm in these areas again, such as Basco, Calayan, in these areas that recently had that super typhoon there. So just be aware, this storm is coming, and 5 days of rain. The European, it does show the worst in the South China Sea as it strengthens there later, but it does show a lot in northern Luzon, as well as some 82 millimeters, close to 100, across Pasco, 139, and more in the central Philippines, more showers and storms, especially like central northern areas. So stay safe from these storms because any of these storms might cause flash flooding like those stronger thunderstorms. So be careful. And if this reaches Vietnam, be careful as well. Already shows 130 millimeters the coast of Vietnam next 5 days. So be careful. And if this forecast trends slightly further north, it might affect Taiwan as well. And it's already showing like 200 millimeters in Taiwan in the next 5 days just from remnant moisture. So be careful, some flooding, especially on the east coast and in southern Japan as well. Those southern islands in Kagoshima, not areas like 200 or more millimeters. Toshima, spots there in Amami, 70 to 100 millimeters. Tokushima. So be aware in those areas and stay safe as well. Show some regular showers and storms near Guam, Micronesia into Palau and those areas, as well as Indonesia, so central Indonesia into Papua New Guinea, and spots there like Malaysia, more tropical showers and storms, and there are a few models like the Axis that shows a little bit more like some 200 millimeters in a few localized spots because more high resolution shows central Indonesia, spots in Guinea, and especially in the west coast of Sumatra, 100 to 200 millimeters. Those islands off the coast of Sumatra, and the European is also trending a lot there near the Indian Ocean side. So be careful and stay safe. Those areas next 10 days does increase some more into Vietnam as that storm nears in more areas. So be aware in those areas. And in India, next 5 days does show some 80 to 90 millimeters as well. Spots there's some 60, 70 millimeters. Spots near the Maldives and Lankship Islands, especially there, Sri Lanka, India, and the Maldives. There'll be a lot of passing storms constantly next week or two. So be careful because there's a lot of moisture in those areas. And the next 5 to 10 days shows even more southern India to like 100 to 200 meters. A few spots there. Southern India into Sri Lanka shows even like 213. So be aware. Next 10 days. And also in the Central Indian Ocean, the Maldives shows more as well in other sections. So stay safe, especially with possible flooding and everything. The GFS has it worst for Sumatra, up to 300 millimeters there in the west coast. So be aware, and it goes down to Seabreeze Village with more than 100 millimeters, and eventually most of southern India close to 200 millimeters between next 5 and 10 days. So watch out in India as well, especially between the 20th and 25th of October. So be careful. And the GFS has a lot from that storm near the Philippines as well in Taiwan. So stay safe. And another area to watch here is like, let's see, the Indian Ocean, because this area of disturbed weather, it does try to form into something. The European forms a low pressure by the 18th, and it goes slightly south. And then it keeps going. It might not reach Madagascar itself, but it might be a tropical depression or even low-end storm. So the seriously, it kind of makes it all the way to Madagascar on the 23rd. Not so strong, but as a weak tropical storm or tropical depression. So better watch this, and there'll be another low pressure on the Indonesia side, but that one might not fully develop. And then later, after that, is showing some a broad low pressure in the Bay of Bengal around the 26th, but that's still too far out. So there's the GFS 0Z. It does show those areas disturbed weather in the Indian Ocean, and then there's the area near Indonesia for a lot of rain and the tropical storm that might form in the southwestern Indian Ocean. It just lingers there, and the GFS is kind of crazy at this time because it forms one too close to the equator, not realistic, near the Bay of Bengal, forms another one also too close to the equator near Indonesia, and this other one that sounds more realistic near the southwestern Indian Ocean. So it does go north of Madagascar, this one the Indian Ocean on the 25th and dissipates, and the other one, the GFS, this big cyclone like into the southern Indian Ocean later on the 25th to the 28th. So better watch these areas because the Bay of Bengal is a potential spot to watch as well. But for now, most of the models are in the Indian Ocean. So there's the Canadian model. Zero C does show that broad low pressure near the Seychelles. It goes kind of south of the Seychelles near Madagascar and dissipates. So the Canadian doesn't even get to Madagascar, but it might get named because this might be a tropical storm. So the Canadians also three other areas. This one, the southeastern Indian Ocean that might also make a run for it has another low pressure in the Arabian Sea. So we might get an invest in the Arabian Sea as well, but that one might not do much because it's drier there and everything. But the Canadian goes all the way to Somalia as a tropical depression or just a low pressure. So better watch this area a lot, especially like I would say everywhere in the Indian Ocean, the Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, southeast and southwest. We should watch all of these areas, but especially the southwest because this storm coming now is likely to form in the next 5 days already. This one towards the southern Indian Ocean. The icon is not the best model for tropical cyclones and it sometimes exaggerates, but the icon does form the other one near Madagascar as well. And it has like a broad low pressure in the Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea as well, and the southeast. So better watch these areas. We already have an invest for the one to approach Madagascar, so still a low chance, but already watching. So be aware. And there's also a lot of rain accumulation, the Arabian Sea from the other low pressure there, and the one that will cross near Sumatra into the southeastern Indian Ocean. So be aware in those areas and just watching Madagascar because this might pass near you and watch as well spots the Bay of Bengal long range and Indonesia just for heavy rains. So stay safe in those areas. And on the African side of it, there are still moderately heavy rains in a few sections of Central Africa, especially like Western Africa, but not as heavy as before. Before it was much heavier, but still some crisscrossing showers and storms. Like in the satellite now, this is live, shows like many isolated thunderstorms in thousands of areas. So there's still a lot of rain. So be careful and like some wind and lightning with those storms too. And there's a front near South Africa with some rain as well there next 5 days. Friday until Saturday shows a storm or two in Botswana into South Africa and some storms there Saturday into Sunday. And still shows a few storms on Sunday there in South Africa. So be aware and Lesotho should have some good rain as well. And still storms into next week. The European still has stuff on Tuesday and Monday. The GFS still has storms on Monday there in South Africa. So be aware. And yeah, the rain accumulation until Tuesday does show like spots central to eastern South Africa some 54 millimeters. The European is 42 to 50 millimeters. Lesotho some rain as well. And the west is kind of dry and shows some rain in Mozambique, a few showers. So be aware. And there's a slight possibility of snow in Lesotho, so it's very late in the season, but still show like 4 centimeters, 2 centimeters. So still a slight possibility. The GFS as well is showing some 4 centimeters. The icon barely nothing, but still a slight chance of snow there. So be aware. And yeah, especially those showers and storms still across central Western Africa, because there are like some late season tropical waves that are coming off. So be careful these showers and storms, and especially like those stronger clusters of storms that cross through Central Africa. Be careful, rain and lightning and everything, and gusty winds. It shows in North Africa. Some more talked about this yesterday in the Europe video, but it does show a few storms to come off of Algeria in those areas, especially Saturday the 18th until Sunday. There's a minor flood threat with this as well throughout Saturday across Tunisia and Algeria. So be aware and stay safe in those areas. It shows a little bit of rain in the Canary Islands as well, and a few more areas. So be aware. Back in Asia, does show a storm or two in Yemen, a shower or two, nothing crazy, more fronts across Turkey, spots of Georgia, Azerbaijan, into Iran. So be aware those fronts, and we'll check the snow in a second. It shows a little bit of precipitation in the Himalayas, but not much. And more across China, especially central China, there's 100 millimeters. In the satellite, you can already see a few storms in this front. Like here, you can see a better, some snow in the mountains and some storms. This front, central China, goes towards South Korea there. And still by Friday to Saturday, some storms in central China, and the front is already in Japan. Saturday, more rain across Japan in more areas. And then we'll see what happens next. But be aware, this front now might have some snow in northern China, Mongolia too. So does show in 5 days, next 5 days, snow in central China, in the mountains, in the Himalayas, spots there across central West China into Tibet, some snow in the Himalayas there, and spots in Kazakhstan, into Pakistan, and especially in Afghanistan, northern Afghanistan, and show like in Kyrgyzstan and southern Kazakhstan, spots in western China. So be aware. It shows in northern China, far eastern Mongolia now, some snow as well. Into North Korea, a little bit in Russia. So it shows more across like into eastern Russia, southeastern Russia, and there in Siberia as usual. Northern Siberia shows a lot. The Kamchatka Peninsula in northern Russia, there in the tundra spots most of northern Russia, and northwesternmost Russia, some snow too. Does show a little bit in Kazakhstan, like very slightly. Northern Kazakhstan, a few spots western Russia, but very little. Yeah, more across northern Russia and like southeastern Russia, these areas here. So be aware, and those islands in the Arctic shows a lot of snow as well. So be careful, those fronts in Russia. As always, there's this useful map here that shows precipitation type. So show like Thursday today, some freezing rain and some snow across Russia there. Friday, more snow across Siberia, all this white is snow, and there's like further north some areas of freezing rain within the snow. Saturday, Sunday, more snow in Siberia. Those white patches keep going, and sometimes with these fronts further west, some like mixed precipitation, some wet snow as well. So be aware, and sometimes might have some ice too. So stay safe. Those fronts and everything. In the Caucasus does show some in Turkey as well, and spots in the Caucasus, some snow, like some 29 centimeters, 24, 1 centimeter across Turkey to 10 centimeters. So be aware, and those areas. So stay safe. Now for some wind gusts, does show here like spots of China to Japan. There's that extratropical cyclone near Japan now, it goes away, but still might be some rough surf. And Friday to Saturday across South Korea, the Sea of Japan, some strong gusts there. This Saturday continues across near spots near Japan and the South China Sea because of that tropical storm near some higher gusts near the east coast of China, possibly as that goes into the South China Sea, and the European does keep some high gusts for a long time there. The South China Sea as that keeps going. So be aware in those areas. And there's those fronts in the Arctic, some strong winds there, northernmost Russia from time to time. So be aware. And let's see, the Middle East doesn't show much, but there's always a spot or two of periodically strong winds, like spot in central China, and then Friday, Saturday, spot or two in Afghanistan in those areas, but nothing too crazy. So there's nothing too important now. In Africa, no major wind, but like does show sometimes in Algeria, some isolated spots in the Mediterranean too. In southern Africa, like Thursday today, there's that system near South Africa, some stronger winds there. Thursday, Friday, some stronger gusts, a few spots central South Africa. Those storms Saturday, there into Sunday still shows some wind, especially in the ocean nearby. Botswana as well, some wind. And if this storm does come into the Indian Ocean, we'll start watching closer And later on, you might have more stuff in South Africa, a few fronts. So be aware in those areas and stay safe. Let's see what might happen. These temperatures shows in Russia into Mongolia, a peak area of negative temperatures, very cold, right? The -20s in Mongolia and across Siberia. Western Russia is doing better, but still some like kind of chilly, some 8, 7 degrees, a few spots there, some -1, -2. So Thursday, this goes, shows in the afternoon, Pakistan and India in the mid-30s degrees Celsius, still very hot, with sections of Western Saudi Arabia close to 4 degrees, and shows Friday, this goes during the night. There's a mass of cold air in Scandinavia coming down to Western Russia. So, right, some colder temperatures, and most of Central Eastern Russia very cold. So shows in Mongolia to -23 already, more spots, most of northernmost China, already covered in negative temperatures during the night, spots in Russia. Japan is still with some mild sea breeze, so it's not too cold yet, but it's doing fine. Let's see, Saturday afternoon, like shows across southern China, still warm, but not as hot as before because central China already some colder air into northern China, so be aware. And then this goes across India and Pakistan, still kind of hot there. A few spots in the Middle East, still in the high 30s degrees Celsius. So Saturday, Sunday, this cold continues across central Russia, gets worse. A few spots central Russia there, into like in Siberia, in central Mongolia does show a few spots, right? It's like -27 degrees Celsius, a few towns there. The the wind chills might be much colder, even to like -30 plus. So be aware. So negative temperatures Kazakhstan, in the mountains there in Tajikistan, into western China, northernmost India in the mountains. And some active temperatures in the Caucasus, right, as well, Central Caucasus, and kind of coldish spots of Turkey and Azerbaijan. So be aware, spots in Afghanistan, in the mountains, and the rest is mild during the night. But this goes does increase during the day more. The Middle East, spots in Pakistan. So be aware, and the cold continues across Siberia in those areas, and in Far Eastern Russia as well. This is alright by Sunday. Northern China, northern North Korea as well. Northern Japan might get a taste of it, but not quite that cold yet. So this Sunday, Monday, the cold from the east is trying to invade the west. Shows like spots of Western Russia some active temperatures. The rest just a bit chilly. And across the mountains in Turkey, Azerbaijan, some negative temperatures, but nothing too crazy as well. So be aware. Northern Kazakhstan already by Monday shows slightly colder, and those areas in Russia. So Monday, Tuesday, still cold in those areas, and this fluctuates a lot because these masses of cold air come in and out. So sometimes colder, sometimes less cold, and then shows like let's see, Wednesday the 22nd might get worse in Siberia, as you can see there in the -20s later next week. So we can't see beyond this because it's all black, but be aware in those areas. Now in Africa, it's still above average temperatures in Mauritania. It's close to 4 degrees, so it's still very hot. A few spots in North Africa, but extreme Northern Africa already less hot, like some 10 degrees, already chilly in a few spots. So shows like, especially during the afternoon in Eritrea, into Egypt, some 38 degrees, Sudan, Chad, especially northern Mali to 40 degrees, still in Mauritania. So still be careful. These temperatures also already getting hotter in southern Africa. A true sign of spring, some 37 degrees, 36, shows in South Africa some 34 in a few areas in the north. So this goes during the night does get slightly less, like some 8 degrees in Lesotho, spots in the Ethiopia highlands as well, and in Morocco there are some 8 degrees in the mountains. But Saturday, the afternoon, western Madagascar is already very hot, 36, 37. Spots central southern Africa, into Kenya as well, spots southern Somalia, into Sudan, Chad, close to 4 degrees, still across Mali. Right at the equator, it's some tropical temperatures, nothing too extreme, but both north and south of the equator, still some extreme heat. So especially not to the north. So Saturday during the night does decrease across spots of South Africa and Lesotho, some 6 degrees during the night, some high elevations even less. So Sunday shows like, especially deep into the night, a few mountains like 4 degrees South Africa, but shows like North Africa, Morocco, some 10, even to like 5 degrees in the mountains, and a few spots northern Algeria already milder. So Sunday in the afternoon across Chad is some 4 degrees still, Sudan, northern Ethiopia, spots in Mali, and there northern Namibia and to Angola some 37, 38 degrees, Botswana, then to Madagascar too. So stay safe, Zambia 38 already. This goes during the night still pretty cool. Monday across South Africa, Lesotho, a few spots North Africa too, but not too much. And then this goes and still shows like the 20th Namibia, spots in Angola, still very hot, and spots Central Africa close to 4 degrees just north of the equator there. So be aware, and especially in the afternoon across Mauritania, even to 41 degrees, Mali, and other spots nearby. So stay safe, and it might continue in a similar pattern. So be aware in those areas, but especially these heavy rains throughout the next 5 days in all of the tropics and the potential storms coming. So stay safe, be aware those areas will keep watching.